Yeah, fellas, welcome to the show. As I showed in my show earlier today, there was this idiot named Google Nexus 5, a white supremacist. I guess he saw that cop video. I've got to make sure that video doesn't get ranked. When you do a live video, it tends to get ranked highly, and then it'll track the white idiots. That's why you see the image thumbnail. So watch me destroy this idiot. And I want you guys to take note. I'm going to use intelligence and show you the real truth. But first, let's start with... Sorry about that. Hold on. Okay, we're back. All right. So first, let's start with him coming to my channel. Let's see. As you recall, this is a white woman that injected herself with what us black people produce, the substance called melanin, and she looks like a fucking freak.
My fans were very irritated.
But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to make fun of white folks. I just want to take care of this idiot. All right, let's go up here. Let's find his original fucking comments. You want to debate, dumbass? Set a time and date. You're still a brainwasher. That's his latest comment to me. Dumbass! Dumbass! Okay. Yep, it's that video. Fuck. I'm going to change the title. Because it's going to attract a lot of white people. Even though I actually understood why the cops drew their guns. I don't agree with it, but I understood. They're still going to come at me. And fuck them. I'll just line them up, slap them out like Three Stooges. Okay, so I just want to dispel the white privilege myth. So is he going to give me any facts? Because I can show him white people, which I'll show you guys in a minute, and I'll show him. I'm going to educate this idiot. I'll show him real facts. Or I'll show him people that will give him real facts. So what do I get when I click on his intelligence summary video, his so-called, I'm going to show you dispelling of white privilege? What do I get? Let's see what he actually posts as his proof.
So I've been thinking a lot about...
Huh? Who is she? A black woman sitting in a car thinking. Black woman destroys white privilege myth. A black woman sitting in a car thinking. A coon. White supremacists, when they find people like this, they swarm like a frenzy. They go into a frenzy. And they pass this video around. See, this black woman says it. It's got to be true. It's got to be true. Excuse me. Alone, black women out of what are there? 48 million, 64 million, whatever it is, blacks in America. One black woman said, I was sitting here thinking. That means he's listening to what is going on in her scrambled brain. Sitting in a car. Because a black woman said it. I tell you, these white guys who are supremacists, they will find any coon to listen to, and they will swarm like a frenzy. They go into a frenzy, fellas. Look at these other coons. She dyes her hair blonde. Now, it is true that white men, they do treat black women better. I'm sorry to say that. She's the type that goes for white men, by the way. She dyes her hair blonde. She's a coon. Look at this old coon. We have those within our race. And these white supremacists, they find them. They find the Tommy Soter's, and they listen to every word he says. And because he's Tommy Sotomayor, it must be true. It must be true. Some lonely black woman sitting in a car. It must be true. Look at it. 352. Look at them. Thumbing it up. These are black people and white people that got common sense. 26,000. I told you they go into a frenzy. They go into a frenzy. They swarm like flies and maggots on shit when they see a black person turn against their own. They love it. It makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel empowered. It's got to be the truth. It's got to be the truth. Because this black woman sitting in her car, she doesn't have an office, no degree, no research. What did she say? I was sitting here thinking. So that's his proof. Then he posted this video to me. This is my spam folder. If you put a video, it goes right to my spam folder. Idiot doesn't even realize that.
And this is sad to say, but the black crime rate has been significantly higher than the white crime rate for literally 150 years.
Did you hear what he just said? The black crime rate has been higher than the white crime rate for 150 years. So we're going back to slavery, right after slavery. Let me show you the truth. Will you pay attention, Google, while I fucking destroy you with the truth? This is FBI.gov. This is not Stormfront. This is not one of those white racist site where you get your information from. This is the actual government information. Do you understand? Can you accept these are white people that work for the FBI.gov that collate this information? I'm sure there's one black person in the office too, token black there, but these are mostly people who look like you, blonde hair, blue eyed, buttermilk complected. Black people lead in murder and robbery. Not by much, but we have it. Here's the actual stats. Murder, 51%. Whites, 45%. But rape, 68 fucking percent. Google, 22%. Robbery, 44%, 53%. Aggravated assault, though. Blacks are so violent. Blacks are violent. Blacks, all they do is violence. 64% white, 32% black. Where's the black violence? Blacks ain't just break your house. They just commit burglary. They just steal. 68% white, 29% black. I'm going to go on. Larceny, theft, 69%, 27%. Motor vehicle theft, 67, 29. Arson, that's burning up people's homes. That's setting fires to buildings. There's animals in people's buildings. People in people's buildings, 73%, 22%. Violent crime, 60%, 36%. Property crime, 69, 27. Other assaults, 65, 30. These are adults. Forgery. Blacks always forge shit. Stealing checks. 64, 33. I am not brainwashing. I am showing you valid truth from your own people. Your people said this. Fraud, 68, 31. Embezzlement, 60, 38, 36. Stolen property, buying, receiving, possessing. Black people, they deal in stolen goods. No, white people do. 65, 32. Vandalism, 69, 27. If you're white, learn your own truth. So when you run into these white racists who are your kin, show them the truth. Say, you know what, that's not true. Listen. 70% of all police calls are because of white people. 70%, it's actually close to 75. 70% of all police calls are because of white people. Weapons carrying, 57-40. Prostitution, 54-39. That's because pimps get your women more than they get black women. Didn't know that, did you? Sex offenses, except rape and prostitution. Sex offenders, they're just little children. We know that the pedophiles are predominantly white males touching little children. They're just little babies, little blue-eyed, buttermilk complected babies. Even infants. These men are penetrating infants. That's your people, Google. 73%, 23. Drug abuse. Blacks are all on drugs. They're crackheads. Blacks are crackheads. All they do is do crack. 70% of the arrest, 27. Gambling, 36, 58. We do gambling. Now, you notice those are crimes of opportunity for or profit to survive. They gamble. Not belittling it, showing the truth of it. Offenses against the family and children. They're just little blue-eyed buttermilk children. 65-29. Blacks, they drink a lot. They drive around drunk. Nope. 82.6. 13. 82.6. 13. What did that guy say? 10 times. There are people out there spitting this shit out so that people like Google Nexus, he hears that and he goes into a frenzy. He's a lonely little desperate dweeb living out a desperate life. And he gets on YouTube. I'm Google Nexus. Cracks his knuckles. He starts typing, clacking away. He looks for blacks, ratting on blacks. See? She said it. Liquor laws, 79-13. Drunkenness, blacks are drunks. They're always high. No. 76-14. Disorderly conduct, they're disorderly. No. 64-31. Vagrancy, 68-26. All other offenses except traffic. Who does the most crimes? 68-28. Suspicion. You're even more suspicious than we are. Wow. Now that I would have thought would have been a black thing. 44-27. It's that way in all categories. So Google, I just destroyed you. I just destroyed that man that you're listening to. Whoever the fuck he is, Ben Shapiro. So I asked myself, why do people like this guy, Ben Shapiro, come out with bullshit like that when he knows it's a lie? He's not stupid. So why does he do that? So he can influence and control the minds of white people. Why though? Why? Why spit lies to make black people look bad? It's bad enough the media does that. Oh, trouble in Ferguson. Oh, trouble in Chicago. And that's all white people see. And they listen to people like Bill the Racist O'Reilly, who has now been debunked. He lied about his past. He was never in a war zone. He told a lie where he grabbed the cameraman in one hand and grabbed the tape in the other hand and ran for cover. Cameraman came out and said, that never happened. I wasn't never bleeding. He never grabbed me. I've held my own tapes. Bill the Racist, what? You lied? The sound man corroborated it. That never happened. Sound man said that never happened. 8 other people for CBS came out and said it was never a war zone. There was never any shooting. Bill said they were mowing people down with bullets instead of using rubber bullets. Turned out they were using rubber bullets. Bill said they were gunning people down. 8 others said it never happened. So these people listen to people like Bill, the racist, O'Reilly. This man is a mouthpiece. Who is behind these people? Who's behind him? Who's behind Bill O'Reilly? Who paid Bill O'Reilly $25 million a year? Or whatever it was. Fox News is behind Bill O'Reilly. Why would Fox News do that? Because that's what the dominant society of America wants to hear. As I said, it can't be about because they got a 5-inch dick. Really? You hate blacks because you got 5-inch dicks? So, who is this guy? Shapiro? Let me show you proof on my side. Excuse me. She's done. She's a nobody. I'll get to this in a minute. We know who this is. Tim Wise.
Why don't we talk about it? Because that would require that we acknowledge that if there are 2 to 3 million people being targeted for race-based housing discrimination because they are people of color every year, that is 2 to 3 million more places I can live. If people of color are being targeted and profiled and I'm not, it may or may not have material consequences. A lot of privilege isn't about material acquisition, so please know this. When I talk about white privilege, I don't even mean money necessarily. For some, it definitely translates to that. For some, it has certainly meant that. But even for those white folks who don't have that money, white privilege is real at the psychological level.
Google is some white guy, can't even show his face. He's a nobody. He's a nobody. He will live a nobody life. He might as well fucking end it now. He's trying to get on YouTube and get some kind of fame, but it won't show his face like those MGTOW guys. He's probably lives in his mother's basement. Here we have a white man out there in the public. Tim Wise. With tons of actual lectures. He's out there living a big life, a real life, doing something that he sees when he sees injustice, talking about it, teaching about it. Where's Google's videos? White privilege does exist.
Race, where it came from, and for the history of the whole concept of whiteness. If you know the history of the whole concept of the white race, where it came from and for what reason, you know that it was a trick, and it's worked brilliantly. See, prior to the mid to late 1600s in the colonies of what would become the United States, there was no such thing as the white race. Those of us of European descent did not refer to ourselves by that term really ever before then.
He said, those of us of European descent, we did not. White man. He's not a black guy with light skin trying to fool you, Google. He's one of your own, teaching you in your race the truth.
In fact, in the old countries of Europe, we had spent most of our time killing each other. We didn't love each other. We weren't one big happy family. The side of my family that comes from Scotland, hell, they didn't even worry about fighting people outside of Scotland. Highlanders and
Supremacists try to say he's a Jew. He's Scottish. Now he's a Jew. He's Scottish.
Landers just fought the hell out of each other. So there was no white race, but in the colonies of what would become the United States, what did we see in the 1660s, 1670s? We began to see that Africans of indentured servant status, many of them not enslaved yet, they were not necessarily permanently enslaved. Some were, others were indentured like many poor Europeans for periods of 7 to 11 years. They could work off their indenture and then they would be free labor technically. Realized, as did the white indentured servants, the Europeans who hadn't even been called white yet, that they had a lot of things in common, like the fact that they were all getting their clock cleaned by the elite. And so they would get together more than our history books taught us, to foment rebellion against the elite, to try to get a better deal for themselves on the basis of economic necessity and economic justice. And what did the elite do? When you see that you're outnumbered by black and white folks who are penniless, landless, peasants, you have to do one of two things. You either have to kill them all, but you can't do that because who's going to work? Rich folks weren't going to. They had to get poor people to work. The whole point was to be a person of leisure back in those days. That was the goal, was not to work. So you couldn't kill them all. You didn't want to kill them all.
That's true. In all the depictions of movies, they show people leisure. They want to be like the elite that was in Europe. These are intelligent white people like you, Google, who are learning. Instead of staying stuck on stupid, listen to Stormfront websites. And I've already destroyed that Ben Shapiro. I just destroyed Ben Shapiro with your own racist truth, put out by your own race. Why don't you join these intelligent white folks and learn the fucking truth? I'm not going to just use him alone. And I challenge you to actually listen to his lectures and become a better man. I challenge every white person listening to me to listen to these lectures and become a better man. I didn't even finish. Look, it comes up. It comes up. White privilege versus white ignorance. Like what you have Google Nexus dude, loser guy in his mama's basement. White privilege versus white ignorance. You are white ignorance. You're a personification of white ignorance because of people like this Ben Shapiro. 10 times greater. Back in after slavery, it wasn't 10 times greater. Nobody recorded shit back then to begin with. So how could he say that? He could say anything he wants because he's on a podium. Who's behind him? What is that name right there? You see what side? This is the reason why I couldn't vote for Trump, because of people on, like this. I don't stand on the side of racism. I'm not mixed race. I don't sit in between. I'm black. So, now Jane Elliott.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, live on the Philippe Matthews show. I told you I'd get her back. We got her back.
Now, probably because Google sees this black guy has a show. It's not a real show. Jane Elliott is an educator. What are you, Google? Jane Elliott is an educator, a teacher. She's been one since the 50s. What are you, Google? What are you? Some weirdo on the internet, on YouTube. Where are the people inviting you to their news broadcasts, to their shows? You are a loser. You are a nobody. I don't debate nobodies. I educate them.
Back with me on the Philippe Matthews. That's a funny thing.
Called me early in the morning, like at 2 o'clock our time, and apologized profusely and him for getting into trouble. So now I think
Times some troubling issues, as many people.
That all white people are racist. And she said if you're educated in America, you came out of high school
I
a
want
racist.
every white person in this room
Listen,
who would be happy to be treated
as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand.
Are you in front of a lecture room full of white people lecturing? Google? You show me a black woman sitting in a fucking car, I show you real people living real lives, big lives that you can't live. You came on YouTube trying to be a big man, and I just squashed you like a fucking bug.
You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody.
Do anybody stand up? Does anybody want to trade places with my race? Does anybody in that audience want to trade places with black people? There's always some guys that's like, I'm a liberal, I'd trade places. No, they don't even stand up. They won't even stand up.
Standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
If you're white and you're not out there trying to stop white supremacy and white privilege, you are one of them, just like she said. Even if you're watching my channel. No days off, you included, everybody. If you're not doing anything to stop this, you're just like those people in the audience. You are no better than they are. Now back to this idiot. So she's an actual educator. She's on talk shows. She's lecturing all over the world. All over the world. Where's Google? Where are these white supremacists that could show up on YouTube? Oh, they're together. Cool.
It's a trick, and it's worked brilliantly. Whiteness. If you know the history of the whole concept of the white race, where it came from and for what reason, you know that it was a trick, and it's worked brilliantly.
Real Italians, you ask them, you call them white. I'm not white. I'm Italian. They didn't fall for that old trick. The younger ones do because they want to assimilate in. The Shapiros out there, the choked out Garner. They have white skin. They're interbreeding. They're losing their melanin.
See, prior to the mid to late 1600s.
Oh, not all Italians have dark skin. Some with pale skin. After the Visigoths sacked Rome, we now will see blonde-haired, and the Visigoths were the people north, the Germans, the barbarians. They raped every female, just about every female in Rome. They were there for 3 days raping. They raped the fuck out of the Romans. So we have more blonde-haired, more red-haired Italians now. Italians know the history. The ones, at least over there. The ones in America, some may know a few words of Italian. Some may speak it. Some just know a couple of words. Let's continue this.
In the colonies of what would become the United States, there was no such thing as the white race. Those of us of European descent did not refer to ourselves.
There was no such thing as the white race. You heard that, right? It's a trick. It started in the 1600s. It started with a German, actually.
By that term, really ever before then. Well, you have to do the work yourself.
Okay, we've seen that.
Team, and you're going to help us keep those other people down.
Yeah, it became a team.
It got a little taste of power, and it did effectively divide.
Now he talks about how Google's grandparents, they had access to government loans to buy houses. That's why white folks have houses that were not available to black people. And that's actually true. There were no loans for black people back in the 20s, 30s, 40s to get homes. Even the GIs couldn't get homes, the black ones, but they made loans available to the white GIs. That is the truth. Research yourself. Find out the truth. Don't be an idiot, Google, whatever your name is. And if you're a Caucasian, find out the truth. Even then, blacks were still found ways to get homes. My grandparents owned their home in Seattle. A beautiful house. My grandfather was never in the war.
Slaves to go fight to keep your slaves for you. You've got to convince them that their
So
skin is more.
the information is out there. I show you real proof. Jane Elliott talks about white privilege. Tim Wise talks about white privilege. Bam, it comes up. Damn, what's Macklemore talking about it for? White privilege explained. You will see the white race come in, try to debunk it. White privilege explained in 5 minutes. Ben Shapiro destroys concept of white privilege. That's what he's out there trying to do. Yet and still, there were these loans that were available to white people. All the businesses are owned by white people. So I guess he's listening to people like that Shapiro said, listen to people giving you the truth. I just debunked Dave Shapiro. Yeah, they Googled it and found this chick. So they're taking over the whole ideology of white privilege. They're putting their videos. And we've seen this. So what is he going to do next? Nothing, because I blocked the idiot. Let me show you some white privilege. This black man was shot carrying a BB gun. BB gun. That's him there. We've seen so often, as we know now, that an unarmed black man is 7 times more likely to get shot down than a white man. And as I tried to explain to you guys, it's because we don't look like them and they're taught to hate us. They are taught to hate us. So, earlier I tried to show you the problems in the white community. Opiate epidemic. When drug epidemic victims are white. Heroin, white Americans. Heroin kills more white people than anyone else. Chicago Tribune, heroin epidemic. New York Times, when addiction has a white face. I showed you, where's my history? We don't need that anymore. This video.
Video shows couple passed out after snorting heroin. A disturbing video showing drug users unconscious.
What's white people don't like? That sent them into a frenzy. White people went into a frenzy because they're surrounded by black people videotaping them. They hated the truth of white America being shown like this. That there is an epidemic by black people. Those dirty blacks. They're showing our truth.
Of drug addiction in an apathetic
This
society.
bitch was faded. This dude was gone.
Driving when he saw a man and a woman passed out by the street. He got out and immediately began streaming the scene on Facebook Live. The man was lying on his back, fully unconscious.
So they would have said, you should have called the cops. Cops are already called.
To the ground. Both had snorted
As I said, at least she's in the right position.
heroin at a nearby Walgreens.
Now they're coming after me for saying that about her.
Made no move to help and can be heard laughing behind the camera. He later claimed someone
It's a
had
joke.
already called 911. The couple
I wouldn't
were
touch that
left by
with
cops and taken to the
with
hospital. More videos of people
nobody's
overdosing
dick.
in public
Look
are
at all these
popping up,
white
likely
folks
due to the growing opiate
passed
epidemic
out
in the US.
from
The
drugs.
market is being flooded with chemically manufactured
Who's doing
opioids
it?
like fentanyl, which are cheaper to produce than
Listen.
natural heroin. Dealers mix the drugs with heroin to reduce costs and make a more potent product. Just a small amount can be harmful, even fatal, if touched or inhaled. The synthetic opiates are bought online from China and shipped to Mexico. From there, traffickers smuggle it into the US.
So the Chinese are shipping that shit to America to fuck up white people. And they're doing a damn good job at it. As that idiot Hannity said to Dr. Khalid Muhammad, we're not making the blacks go out there and get the crack pipes. And ain't nobody making white folks go out there and get them needles and sticking a needle in their arms or shoveling gallons of meth into their bloodstreams. Do you know this stuff? Do you see this stuff on mainstream news? No. You don't see this on mainstream news. What does mainstream news show? Blacks that kill each other in Chicago. At least they got it down to just one city. There used to be, what was that, Detroit or Cleveland? Cleveland is going down the tubes. Or Detroit, whatever it was. I don't pay attention to them. So excuse me if I don't get the right berg. Blacks can't manage anything. So,